out of Haiti and more recently Chile, the world is a place that has been shaken to its very foundations. And certainly as we think about the prospects in the months and years ahead for the people of Haiti, we know how much they need ambassadors of compassion and hope. Sometimes just a single ray of hope can make a difference. I was reading a piece that was written by a Canadian reporter who had gone to Haiti in recent weeks and was writing about some of the experiences and some of the stories that she had discovered as she talked with people who had been at the epicenter of the earthquake. And she shares with them a compassion and a care and a way of sharing that message that we might also join in a future with them. As one of those Haitians said, "I'm just in darkness." And his belief was that that darkness can only be lifted by God and by those he broadly refers to as the white people. In Cameroon, Dennis Richardson and I were called Le Blanc, the whites. But they need to have people who can stand with them. And there is a real belief that we, who have so much, the United Nations, the nations of Europe, the world, need to stand with them and beside them to provide a ray of hope. One of the families that reporter Catherine Carlson met was Jacqueline and Clifford Montplaisir. On January 10th, Jacqueline gave birth to a little boy named David. He was just 2 days old when the earthquake struck. His father, a man of deep faith, believed that God shook Haiti of a divine test, a test to see whether Haiti could survive by uniting and caring for one another. Their son David and the dozens of newborns who are beginning their life in tent cities like his were delivered into one of the worst human tragedies we have ever known. The elementary school at which his mother taught collapsed. Its wreckage was cleared away to make way for the homeless. The sign outside now reads refugee camp. The technical college that his father recently graduated from has been swallowed up in the devastation of the earthquake. Only God and the people of Haiti can make things right, his father says. We need to put our heads together. He just, as he says, wants a change, a different story for this country. And the couple believes that David, little David, now only a few months old, can be part of that story. But in order for that to happen, it is necessary that others respond as ambassadors of Christ, as messengers and as actors, responding to human need with compassion and action. One of the other people that reporter Carlson spoke with is a pastor of a church that collapsed, and yet its parishioners continue to worship every Sunday. In fact, they worship more frequently than that. And they pray for a miracle of God. The pastor of that church says it is the infants of Haiti that challenge his faith the most, that compel him to carry on his pastoral duties, even when his own family thinks it would be easier for the family to relocate somewhere else. The newborn might represent the future, he said, but it will take time. The future is not tomorrow. Inside, it's hard for us, he says, even though we smile. You think I'm happy, but you don't know that I sleep in my car every night, that people come here to sleep in the dirt. But it is, reporter Carlson wrote, upon the dirt of Haiti that colorful tent cities have sprung, and it is in these tent cities that life carries on. For survivors like David's parents, there is no choice but to trust their faith. Their son, David, was born just 2 days before the earthquake, and his life awaits him. Each Sunday, the couple prays for David, and each night they pray when they lay him to sleep. This baby is here for hope, for tomorrow's future, his father said. I have hope because I need to believe things can change. We are part of a wonderful human community whose hearts are touched by compassionate stories and who allow ourselves to be changed, to grow, for our faith to be deepened. This congregation, in its response to Haiti relief, has given thousands of dollars. Across the United Church of Christ, over $1 million has been raised to date. More than 150,000 people have been served, getting emergency food, shelter, hygiene kits, medical supplies, health clinics help to be established and manned. All of those things help because people join together to care for others, people they don't even know, people they may never meet. We have a tremendous call before us to be God's good people in the world. And that is what the story of the prodigal, the story of Corinthians is really all about. Be reconciled. Get your act together with one another. Get your lives focused on the right things. Don't let past hurts and disappointments keep you from being vehicles that God can use to share love, grace, and hope, that you too may be the angel someone else needs. Thanks be to God. Our mission moment today is going to be a multimedia one. In your bulletins are envelopes for 1 great hour of sharing. This is an offering that the church has been taking since right after World War II. 1 great hour of sharing monies make it possible for immediate response when something like the Haiti earthquake hits, or when an earthquake shakes Chile, causes such incredible damage there as well, or tornadoes or floods, or any of those circumstances that strike the world. 1 great hour sharing monies make it possible for us as a community of faith to respond quickly. And as the insert says, another message from Jesus: feed my sheep, tend my lambs, take care of my people. As we were preparing for today's service, Jeanette was approached by one of our young people who has written a song. Summer Adine has written an original piece called The Fight of Your Life. It was written in response to the Haiti earthquake. She sang it for a telethon raising money for Haiti relief and she is here to share it with us this morning.